A blessed Sunday, everyone. I trust that everybody is in good health, good strength, at peace. Giving you all a few minutes to come in. Hi, Paige. So I'm giving you all a couple minutes to read the caption as well for this live. Hi everyone. So guys, today I am asking you all to share the live. Once you come on, please share the live, because we have some good stuff to talk about today. I'm very excited for my topic today because it is how to put this, boy. There was a convention at my church. Hi Anya Lewis, and my pastor Derry. He preached on a topic for the last night of the convention. Listen to me. I almost didn't attend the conference. Hi Genevieve. I didn't attend the conference. I almost didn't attend the last night of the conference because the night before I took Asia and Zion, and it was really tiring having to deal with Asia, because she was on some kind of adrenaline and she was up and down the church, so it was difficult for me to concentrate on what was taking place. So the last night I decided, you know what, I just felt led in my spirit I needed to be there. Because this is the night that our pastor was preaching. It was the grand finale, the final night, and I said, you know what, I need to go. I really need to be there. And I had mommy look at Asia until my husband came in from work, and everything sorted out itself. And guys, believe me when I tell you, if I had missed that night, I'm telling you, I would have missed the opportunity to become wise in an area of my life that for many years I thought I was right. I was what they call it, how they say it, you are genuine in your thoughts, in your beliefs, but you are genuinely wrong. And for many years I've been genuinely wrong, where the position that I hold in my home is concerned. And this is simply because of the example that I had, or the lack thereof. Beside the fact that I grew up in an abusive home. Well, I didn't grow up in an abusive home. When I was young, before my mom, we for the most part of my life, I lived with my mom only, single parent. But previous to that, the memory that I had or have was not like the best. But I always say, I don't try to make anybody out at, because for me, I feel like you are only able to do what you can based on the wisdom, the capacity, knowledge that you have at that point in time. So my parents obviously didn't know better at that point when we were younger. And then when my mother began to go to church, she took all her children to church. We were all six of us. From the age of 8 or 9, I started going to church, and it was the best thing that she could have done for us, because as a single parent, she couldn't raise us on her own. So she took us to the Lord, and we started going to Sunday school and that kind of thing. And it still didn't remove certain memories, certain ideologies, certain things that we grew up seeing, not understanding that they were only doing what they could have done based on the capacity, knowledge, the wisdom that they had then. All right, so I will never blame anybody and say it's because of my mother and because of my father. It is, yeah, but I am not going to use it as a crutch for the rest of my life and say this is what happened and this is why I'm this. No. we all have the opportunity to change things in our life, and we cannot keep using things as crutch in our life. However, these set things could affect us in ways where we thinking this is just our personality, this is just us, this is our characteristic, but it was formed. How was these traits and characteristics formed? By things that we were seeing to be normal that weren't normal. So for me, I grew up with a mother mainly all my life, and remembering certain hurts that my mom went through, I felt a certain level of anger towards men. I felt a certain level of I needed to vindicate my mother, and in doing or in thinking that way for many years, I felt like I never really genuinely allowed myself to love a man, and I would, enter relationships and always thinking of myself as superior because I know I'm a woman, and based on the power that I know women hold, women make kingdoms fall, women make country go to war. We have a certain level of power that we use and that we can use for good or for bad. And I used to use that in a negative way until I became more knowledgeable, and I wasn't doing it on that level again, but subconsciously I was still unable to submit. When I got married, that is when every single thing started being highlighted. And I love my husband to bits, and he's a Christian. He goes to church with me. His faith is, something that keeps growing, but he's a younger believer than myself. So certain things that I would have known, or I know through experience and through years of seeing things, he doesn't have that. And, for me, like I telling you, Pastor Derry brought this across in a way where it blew my mind, because for many years I felt like, no matter what, no man ain't going and rule me, no man ain't going on this. And then I understood submission and to be submissive, and I thought I was submitting to my husband. But women, you don't realize that there are ways that you can break a man down. Now, a man is supposed to be biblically the head of the home. He is the man who is supposed to be carrying you. He is your, I don't want to say Lord, but he holds that position where it is the head of the home, the husband, the wife as the support, the helpmate, and you are carrying out the rules and what is put in place by the husband, and with love. Even so the idea is for or the best way for this to work is when a man is in Christ and he's being led by God. Let me just put that out there one time. If it is that you have a man, I mean, it is still the order where he is supposed to be the head and you're supposed to be submitting and all of that. But if he is not being led by God, it is kind of complicated, because if you're not led by God, you could be led by all different kind of things, all different kinds of spirits. So it is difficult for a woman to know that a man is being led by a spirit outside of what she knows and just submit. It's kind of technical in that way. So I tell my husband, babe, once you are being led by the Lord, and this is in very recent times, because I used to do certain things even when I'm praying for him, like certain prayers I would pray in front of him, and Lord, I thank you for getting rid of so and rebuking so I rebuking thing in the man's face. That is subconsciously pulling your man down. There's certain prayers that you pray when he's sleeping, you cover him, you anoint him and whatever. There's certain things that you would say and declare that he doesn't need to know, he doesn't need to hear. And for a while I thought I was being submissive to my husband, and I now understand how a lot of women could one day just wake up and their husband just want to leave them, because they don't realize, even the man don't realize, that he's fallen out of love with this woman years before he actually reaches the decision to leave. Because you are becoming more and more, a man has a particular role to play, and if you are trying to play that, and if there's two pants in the house, it is something that is subconsciously taking place in a man's mind, and he could become less and less attracted to you and more attracted to a woman who is more understanding of her role. I'm not endorsing this, I'm not suggesting that this is at all what it's supposed to be like. I'm telling you, this is what happens in the spiritual realm. You are trying to wear the pants for the man. You are trying to lead. You are trying to fight the man. You are trying to, it is a competition in the home who really wearing the pants. And I am telling you, I have been trying to wear these trousers for a while. And it explained to me the other night, it was Wednesday night, it explained to me so clear all the things that I was doing that was wrong. And you know, my husband, like, I felt so much compassion towards him, because I'm saying, but you had a real love me, because the things that this pastor was describing, the different ways, the different traits that a woman possess while trying to compete with the man for the pants roll and for the head roll. If you are trying to compete, this is examples that you are passing on to your children, and these children are seeing that, and that is why our society is so messed up, because the children are seeing the mother trying to take the role of the father, and subconsciously they don't know, you know, they can't put it into words. It is just something natural. This is what I'm saying. It is a natural thing that I saw growing up. It's a natural thing that you adapt, and you're thinking, this is my personality, this is my trait, this is my whatever. But my daughter is seeing me trying to take the lead role. My son is seeing that the man is being emasculated in certain ways. So just imagine how messed up we put all these children into society, and the boy going out there probably becoming a homosexual, the girl going out there becoming a dyke, or just having the attitude like me, you wanting to lead, you wanting to take that role, you wanted to take that headship that is not yours biblically. It is not yours. So if you are doing things that are not in alignment or accordance with the word of God, then what will you have? What are the results that you will have in your home? And for all the years that I've been married, there are certain things, you know, you're praying about this, Lord help me in this area, and not realizing that you are the one who contributing consistently, repeatedly to these problems without knowing. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, as I always say. So now that I have the knowledge, there is no way, ladies and gentlemen, that I am going to ever again try to compete with my husband for headship. That is his role. And because he's a man of God, and I said to him, babe, once I know you are hearing from the word of God and you are being directed by God, I bring myself all the way down. And it is so sexy, it is so attractive for a woman to be submissive to her husband, who she knows is walking in alignment with God, and whose authority she respects, she reverence, and she put on a place where this man is understanding, this is my role. This is my role. And if you are constantly taking that from the man, after a while, the man just subconsciously not realize, he pull back. He no longer functioning in the natural role that he's supposed to function. And I'm saying these things happen subconsciously. These things happen naturally without him even realizing what's taking place. He could become less attracted to you. He could become resentful. And all of these things are happening subconsciously. One day you wake up, you realize your man, he don't want you again. You're not appealing to him again. He decides he don't want this relationship, and you want to know, for the love of God, what? When this happened, you were creating this over time, over a period of time. You were creating this. You're trying to wear the man pants. Keep your position, and you're a helpmate. You are there to help this man. And if rules are put in place by the both of you all, you are there to support. You are the person who's supposed to help carry out those. You are not supposed to be saying behind the husband back, and all the when all the father come pretend so and you're hiding things, and you're trying to make the children feel there's a division in the home. There is a division in the home, and you are starting to cause the children to be dishonest from in the home by you trying to make them hide certain things from the father, when you are supposed to help carry out what was put in place by the both of all you. You are creating division, and you are creating messed up children who from that very tender age thinking messed up because of what you are instilling in them. And for me, anything that could make my home better, anything that could make my family life better, anything that can make my children less dysfunctional, because we all have dysfunctions. We all have dysfunction, just in different areas. Anything that could make my family life a better, a tighter unit, a more God-led unit, I am there for that, and I am jumping on the bandwagon to get myself in my position and help push my husband subconsciously by how I move and how I pull back from trying to believe, pull back, and naturally, without even saying or doing anything, you know, naturally I will be pushing him to walk in his purpose and to walk in the calling that God created for him, and the position that God created him to occupy. naturally that will happen by the way that I act. That's why we need to understand, women, our importance and our role. And if you understand your role, you will be surprised that you don't even have to fight down your man. All you have to do is encourage. All you have to do is walk in your lane. Walk in your lane, bat in your crease, understand the word of God. Like Sherry Derry was asking me one time, like, have you ever verbalized that, you know, if you will choose your husband or your children over your husband, whatever? And I was like, I'll always choose my children over my husband, always, every single time. It is not biblical, it is not scriptural. Your children will grow up, they will leave, and they will whatever. It is not scriptural, and there's certain things like this that we need to know, we need to understand. And how could we understand? I didn't know that that was not scriptural. I did not know that that is in the Bible. And if you don't know what is in the Bible, how could you know what will work for you? That's why I telling you, I study in the word of God till my head hurting, but at the end of the pain in my head, I will be wiser. I will be acting out of what God says, and I will definitely be reaping the benefits. Guys, let me tell you something, you see, once you're exposed to the truth and you still decide to live otherwise, you suffer the repercussion. You deal with that. However, you hang, you swing after that. If you don't know, then you will, you know, God will blink on that a little bit. But once you know, once you hear, and that is why I put it out here, I am not here to judge, and because God could take you, like Pastor said today, God could take you from righteousness and temporarily, you know, you live a life of unrighteousness, but that same level of unrighteousness that you live can be a testimony, like he shared about this woman who was a prostitute for many years, slept with 11 men plus a day, and she gave her life to God after a while, and she became saved, and God literally renewed her body. And when he went, he loved her, he fell in love with her. She told him her life story, and he loved her in spite of. So God literally sent that man. But hear the testimony, when he came back from his honeymoon, he was like, God gave me nothing less than a virgin. And what I'm saying is, God could renew us. Once you are exposed to the truth and you walk in the truth, you understand. It's here first. You understand the truth, you believe the truth with your heart, and then in your hands you start walking, you start acting, you start fulfilling the truth. That is how it is. You can't just hear and not believe or do. You hear, you believe, you act. That is the form. That is the format. You hear, you believe, you act. That is how it's supposed to be. So you can't tell me you hear something and you're not going and dig into it. Like I go in and study, you know, the role of a woman. I mean, like, we will read it, we will understand it, we will hear it, but to really dig deep and understand the depths of the role of a woman, I'm telling you, there will be less divorces. I'm telling you. Women, we have strength and powers. Use it in the right way. Subconsciously elevate your man to the position that he's supposed to be, especially if he don't naturally know how to walk in that. You could direct him as the helpmate, direct him into his role, and know your place, walk in your lane. I mean, like, I took so much notes. I'm gonna make sure I cover and everything because I really want you all to know. Okay. When we, you know, when we fail to teach godly wisdom in the home, we are only raising criminals. All right. Let me get to when a man tries to compete with God for leadership, he becomes headless. And when a woman tries to compete with her man or her husband, she also becomes headless. So if the man trying to compete with God, he become headless. And so it's a role, it's an order, you understand? It was predestined. If you can't, it was predestined that way. So if you can't handle that, you're not ready for marriage. Like people is talk, and I want to get married, and I want to get, you're not ready for marriage if you are not willing to submit and understand your role as a woman. Because some people say, I will never do that. I will never, no man ain't gonna rule me. And that is because you so hurt as a child, you have whatever vendetta, you know. That was me. I telling you, I lived this all my life, and even in marriage I was walking in a lie, not understanding the truth of what my position was. You could break a man's morals. When you break a man's dogma, as the pastor put it, formula, you are messing with your marriage, your home, your children. Don't use your intellect to mash down or assert authority over the man. You know, some women feel like, I smarter than he. No. You could be smart and single. Boo. Don't fight him down even if you are right. There's a way. Even if you are right, you can't fight down the man. There's a way of bringing your point across in love. Don't pray. Yeah, I spoke to you all, you know, you're born to pray and you want to bind out and rebuke certain things in front of the man, about the man. No. And he said, when you get a man with a head, that's what you call therapy. There's no sweeter man than a man with a head. A man who knows his role, a man who's walking in his authority, in his position. Sons without fathers are natural affiliates, allies, epidemic associates to the enemy. You know, like, it is so important for a son to be, to hear the father encouraging him and feel accepted. And don't talk for the daughter. The man, the father is the first man the daughter would ever know. And this man is supposed to love her, supposed to protect her. And if you are not doing that for your daughter, it makes them so messed up. And the way that they choose their spouse, they choose their partners, it is evident. It is evident of what took place in the home. So guys, I will continue to talk more about this because it is such a deep topic and it was such a life-changing experience for me to hear certain things said in a particular way. I'm supposed to be getting the sermon to just listen, eat it up, lap up every single thing, understand it more, because it is something that was affecting my marriage, my life for years. And now that I have the understanding, now that I have the wisdom, I am never going to be the same way again. I know it already starts showing in my husband. You know, I don't have to say and do anything and beg God, because once I walk that walk, once I talk that talk, once I push him towards where he's supposed to go, naturally I will have all and then some, all that I want from my husband and then some. I love you guys with the love of God. Take charge, stay blessed.